Hey folks, and welcome to the Truck King YouTube channel. Back in 2015, Chevrolet reignited the midsize segment with that redesigned Colorado, and now 7 years later, we have a new truck to show you. Say hello to the 2023 Chevy Colorado. Everything is new about this Colorado, so in this video we'll go over the new engine, the new configurations, the new trim levels, and then of course let you know when the truck is coming. Let's start by talking about the engine that will be available in the Colorado. That's right, there's only going to be one engine coming in this new midsizer. There's no more V6, no more diesel. Now you're going to get a 2.7 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Now this is the same engine that debuted over in the larger Silverado, although here in the Colorado, it's going to have 3 different engine outputs. The base version will make 237 horsepower and 259 pound-feet of torque. Move up, you get to the 2.7 liter Turbo Plus model. Now that's going to make 310 horsepower, 390 pound-feet of torque. Finally, you have the 2.7 liter Turbo High Output. This is making 310 horsepower, 430 pound-feet of torque. Regardless of output, the engine will be paired with a retuned 8-speed automatic. Now when it comes to towing, Chevy says that the base version will be good for 3,500 pounds, while step up to the Turbo Plus or the High Output, and the Colorado will be good for 7,700 pounds of max towing. So Chevy has simplified the engine lineup, going for just one power plant and then a couple of different outputs. Well, they've done the same thing with the configurations, because you can no longer get an extended cab with a long bed. This 2023 Colorado will only be available as a crew cab with a 5-foot 2-inch bed. Now, when Chevy was asked about this during a Q&A session we had, they said they have no plans right now to release an extended cab version. And of course, according to the brand, they say this actually matches with what the demand says. Now let's go through the trim walk, and I'll tell you what comes on these trucks, especially that redesigned ZR2. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot, there's a brand new model called the ZR2 Desert Boss. I'll tell you what's on that as well. So the Colorado trim lineup starts with work truck, then you move up to LT, then Z71, then Trail Boss, finally ZR2, and then the ultimate model now is the ZR2 Desert Boss. So work truck is going to be your base model, LT is your budget-friendly model, Z71, you start to get some of the off-road enhancements, but then you're also going to get some of the nicer interior stuff, so that's really going to be what's considered the luxury or everyday driver model. Then you get up into the Trail Boss. Now, Trail Boss for Colorado means basically the same things it does for Silverado. No engine output change, but you do get a 2-inch factory lift, and in this case, you get a wider track as well. So you're not getting the extreme off-road capability of the ZR2, but you are getting a couple nice goodies. Then if you do step up into the ZR2, you're going to end up with a 3-inch lift, front and rear lockers, unique bumpers to make sure you get the best approach and departure angles, and a full set of aluminum skid plates. Oh, and of course those multi-matic spool valve dampers, which have been on the ZR2 now for some time. Finally, move up to that ultimate Desert Boss model, and you're going to get a larger set of 33-inch tires, a unique front fascia, an underbody camera. Yes, the Colorado now has a camera mounted underneath, so you can see what's going on under the truck. Of course, this is important for off-roading. That will be available on the ZR2, but on the Desert Boss, it comes as standard. You're also going to get a light bar on top of the Desert Boss, unique badging, and a sport barb. So it's really just taking the ZR2 and making it look even tougher, and of course, getting it ready for running out there in the desert. We will come back to the off-road angles in just a moment, and I'll compare it to the Tacoma TRD Pro. For now, let's talk about the size, and the one thing that has grown on this Colorado is the wheelbase. they've actually stretched it out by about 3.1 inches, but the overall length of the truck only grew by 1 inch. So what that did is it made the overhangs even smaller. So you have a smaller front and rear overhang, and that results in better off-road angles. Now the wheelbase here now is 131.4 inches, and the overall length of the truck is 213 inches. Overall width, well, this depends on the model. It's 62.8 inches on the base trucks, and then 66.1 inches on the Trail Boss and the ZR2, which have that wider track. So those two models, you're gonna really get that width out of them. Now finally, what are the off-road numbers? Well, for the ZR2, you're getting a 38.3 degree approach angle, 25.1 degree departure angle, and ground clearance of 10.7 inches. And yes, those numbers are better than the 2022 Tacoma TRD Pro, which gets an approach of 36 degrees, a departure of 24.7 degrees, and just 9.4 inches of ground clearance. Note on the ZR2, Chevy went out of their way to mention that they moved the shocks inboard to outboard on the rear axle, and that was one of our biggest criticisms of the ZR2 is those shock mounts hung down really low and they were quite exposed. So when you went off-road, you were really beating on them and they were dragging through the mud and the muck. Now that shouldn't happen because they're much better protected in that outboard position. 5 different drive modes are available, of course, catering to off-road as well. You're going to get normal, tow haul, off-road mode, terrain mode, and Baja mode. Chevy has worked a lot with the bed on the Colorado too, and really they've adopted a lot of the great ideas they had with the Silverado. So there are now 8 hard tie-down points in this bed, that is 2 in each corner. This is especially important because it offers you 2 different heights to choose from. It's helpful when you're tying down larger things or tall things especially. You're also getting now wood dividers, more points where you can install those wooden dividers along your bed, and you're getting a tailgate mid position. It's actually designed there to sit on the mid position so you can put a longer sheet of plywood in that bed. The other party trick the new Colorado has is inside the tailgate there is now a storage compartment. You can see it here. Of course, you can use it for tools, or as Chevrolet says, you can also use it for drinks if you're headed to a tailgate party. Looking inside, the interior is completely redesigned. You now get an 11.3-inch touchscreen in the center stack. You can get an 8-inch driver info screen right in front of you, and the trucks run Google's native infotainment system. But don't worry, if you want to hook up Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you can still do that. Also new in the infotainment system is an off-road performance display, which will show you things like your angles and your wheel slip. A total of 10 cameras are now available on the Colorado, and these will also work with Chevy's full suite of trailering aids. So you get trailer hitch guidance. You can also use Chevy's trailering app. So really they've made towing here easier than ever, especially with all those cameras. Well, folks, we've come to the end of this video. Now, production on this 2023 Colorado is set to begin in the first half of 2023, so we won't actually see this truck on the streets until next year. Pricing, fuel economy, other details will be released closer to that on-sale date. What is really exciting, I think, is that we just got this new Colorado and we are about to get a new Toyota Tacoma. So this mid-size market is truly heating up again, and I can't wait to compare the two once Toyota reveals its midsizer, because I gotta say, so far from what I've seen, this Chevy looks pretty good. Now, of course, I want to hear from you guys. Go below into the comments. Let me know what you think of this new Colorado. As always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member, and then come right back here to Truck King to see what we are testing next, because you never know what it might be. See ya.